everyone, it's Louise with Louise Make Art. Welcome to my channel. I'm glad you're here, and obviously we have another Lazy Susan today, and I don't know if I'm going to move it because it's not bad. You know how I've had my problems with it being off-center. It's still a little bit off-center. But what I do, I varnish the top and the sides with matte varnish from MinWax. Let me just show it to you. It's just clear matte. And I use the matte because I'm not going to use the matte for much else. So I use it for barrier. And I've had several people ask about warping. And I've never had a problem with these warping, knock on wood. I just hope that that does not kiss it to death. But yeah, and then the underneath part, I have it taped off and covered up. You can see my video 312, which is a full tutorial linked above. I've got my Glidden, I've got my remnant of Glidden here for my pillow. So I'm going to take a chance that I have enough of this Glidden here. And if I don't, I'm going to have to run the edges with the Multi-Pro. So this is the Glidden that I use, and I'm going to go to Home Depot and get more of this because I actually really like this. It's been good to me. It's made good creations for me. So without any further ado, let's hope I have enough paint. So I'm going to cut out anything that's redundant or not necessary, and if I've left it in, it's certainly worth listening to. Of course, when you're running out to the end like this, you run the risk of debris being in it. So I'm going to put the end of it on the ends. I think we're going to have to call that done. All right, colors. I've got my Artez's Blue Glacier Pearl my Artez's Pearl Glacier Blue. Find the middle. I'm going to cut out some of the laying down of the paint because this video ran really long. The Payne's Gray. It's my Payne's Gray combination, which is golden and Artez's Payne's Gray combined together. That's just the first dab. I'm going to put more at the end. This is my homemade sea foam. It's a combination of Artez's Glacier Blue and sea glass. Now this color is quite shy, so I'm going to be very generous with it. All right, next color. This is a Modern Masters teal. These Lazy Susans are becoming a staple for me. If you haven't figured that out by what I post. All right, this is TLP Hammerhead. And I do like to drizzle because I just have this belief that if I'm drizzling, then the paints are kind of laying down in a lattice work kind of way. And they have a little more chance to breathe through each other. So like they kind of fold through each other like a good pie. All right, here is some Golden's Iridescent Silver. And my Amsterdam's Bluish Green. Now my paints are all mixed with Glidden's 833124 and MinWax Gloss Varnish at about 2.5 paint to 1 part MinWax. Now I used to use a recipe with Glidden, and I have it's video 140 if you want to take a look and see how I mix my pouring medium. And then I mix my paints using my pouring medium to the right consistency. And then we are good to go. Of note, in the video 140, I am using a Glidden for the pouring medium, but the Glidden and the Valspar work pretty much the same. And now we're back to that Payne's Gray combo. When I was first learning, I was very precise about my measurements, thinking if I could just get control of my measurements, I'm going to get control over this situation and I'm going to have a good result. You know, it's more about consistency and less about precision of anything. Because the truth is, each paint is different in consistency to start with, so that's going to change the way you're going to mix it up to get consistency to pour with. With that. Okay, now I got my Berta. It's 1,000 water off of Amazon. I got it a couple years ago, so I don't have a link to it anymore. I'll be using it on high speed and cool. And here's my American Floetrol Cell Activator. It's video 141. I have it linked above. It's a quick 8-minute video if you want to see how I make it and what goes in it. I'm going to add a little spritz of water to this because it's a little bit thick. That's better. Yeah, just a little water. Nothing to be afraid of. That's good. All right. I get my step stool. So when I blow it out, I got a good vantage point. And I'll probably blow into the middle to start with. So I'm finding I'm liking the way that works. Just to kind of spread it out a little bit. All right, a couple dabs of the cell activator right in the middle as much as possible. And then a little bit of black right on top of that. Give it a blow. So here I'm just doing a real quick blowout just to get that cell activator to start to spread out over the paint and create a little bit of a ridge for the hairdryer to hit when I get ready to blow dry. So what I do here after I spread out that cell activator a little bit is I aim my hairdryer right at that bullseye, right at the center of that cell activator, and I then try to push that cell activator out over the paints and the paints out over the pillow and go around the entire Lazy Susan. Note how far I blow this out. I don't have to slop it all the way to the edges and have it go over when I'm just in the blowout phase, because I'll take care of all that during the spinning. And here I noticed as I was putting my blow dryer toward it, it wasn't moving very well, so I decided to give it a little extra blow with my mouth and then put it back on the blow dryer. And here I'm just assessing how far I've blown it out and decide to keep it where it is so I can have a little negative space. When you're blowing it out, you have a tendency to want to keep going. Because look, we're only about 2/3 of the way covered. Don't worry about that. It's going to spread. It's going to stretch. And you're going to be fine. My worry when I overblow, it's not a worry, it's a fact. When I overblow, I end up with pillow coming through. I don't want to see the pillow. All right. Let's give this guy a leading edge. I always break up the surface tension on the edge. Let me get stuff out of the way. All right, let's give it a spin. And I'm going to make it a set of coasters as well. This is commissioned with a set of coasters. So you got the whole dining room table covered. Here we go. Nice gentle spin to start with. See where we are. That one side is really coming off fast and furious. Like it to wait a minute. Just wait a minute, please. But see how this is spreading? This is the beautiful thing about this Glidden, is that it spreads so easy. All right, once it starts spreading, I'll fill in these gaps over here. Another gentle spin, and that's actually really nicely centered. I'm leaving in all the beginning spins because it's important to see how I control this coming out. Okay, so I got some spillage over here. Let's put it over here. Otherwise, my composition is going to run over itself, which means it's just going to kind of fold over on its own. But I have enough paint here to not have that happen. Have just enough, just enough. Such a relief. Yeah, even when you have little paint, you can still make things happen. And so far, I think I made a good call. All right, I think we're covered. Oh my goodness. I'm just gonna let it run. It looks like watercolor in there. It is, whew, it's really pretty. Got a couple spots of negative space, but we'll play with it a little bit. Let's go the other way, and then I'll check my paint depth in a second. You want to check your paint depth in the middle. Use a toothpick, pop it down the middle, you see how much you've got. You want to have just a teeny tiny amount, maybe a 32nd of an inch. Let's see where we are in the middle. Oh, look at, can you see it? We're spun out. We are spun out. Okay, I gotta do something about that thing. It's a bit odd. So let's just, So I'm going to be cutting out a lot here. I do a little bit of adjustments with a palette knife and some playing around and a looking. So I cut out probably 3 minutes here of just that. I'm going to come back to cleaning up. I clean up the bottoms with my finger. Because you want the paint to stop pulling. It's going to go around the whole thing, pulling it out and down, out and down. It's all dripping off my finger down to the floor. And be very careful. You don't want to get this far and have a mistake where you put your finger over the top by mistake, not thinking. Always be aware of what you're doing. All right, I'm going to call this done. I'll be back for the resin results. So here are the resin results, and I'm delighted to share my client's reaction when she opened up the box with the coasters and the Lazy Susan. I mean, it's a true pleasure to be in the presence of such joy when she sees these creations for the first time. And tomorrow I'll be releasing the matching coasters in a premiere with Ayushu's Crafty Kids Club, and it's art by Donna. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you haven't yet, please subscribe, hit the bell, and you'll get all my latest tutorials that are always filled with tips and ideas to help you grow. Join me at the Fluidart Boutique in DC from the 6th to the 8th of August if you want to learn how to do some blooming. And at the end, I will have a link to my other Lazy Susan playlists. Thanks a lot, everybody. Take care. Until next time.